Okay, so get this, listeners. Today we're taking a deep dive into something called aleatory salad.
Aleatory salad.
Yeah, and, well, it's not exactly your typical music album.
No. No, it is not.
We're talking, like, AI-generated music
Mm-hmm.
and lyrics that are, well, let's just say they're pretty out there.
Yeah, they're definitely unique.
You wanted to explore this whole, this bizarre AI music scene, so I thought, why not? Let's do it. Let's unpack this aleatory salad thing and see what it's all about.
Sounds good to me.
So where do we even begin with something like this? I mean, how do you even go about creating an album using AI?
Well, the creators of this project, they're called TATANKA, and they basically just decided to embrace the unpredictable.
Okay, how so?
So they use this AI music generator. It's called Suno.com, and they basically fed it prompts designed for like pure randomness.
Randomness, so no, like, specific melodies or anything like that?
No, not really.
Interesting.
It's kind of like, imagine throwing a bunch of different genres, instruments, tempos, all into a blender. Just see what comes out.
That's kind of what I was thinking, just this, like, musical chaos. But, I mean, is it even listenable?
Well, listenable might be subjective.
Okay, fair enough. But what about the lyrics? You said they were AI generated too, right?
Right, yeah. And there's something else.
Like, how so? Give us an example.
Okay, how about this? Traffic cone symphonies, whispering vowels.
Traffic cone symphonies, okay.
Or jellyfish tangled in towels.
Jellyfish tangled in towels.
Yeah, you get the picture.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds pretty random, but it also sounds like maybe they were going for a certain, like, aesthetic, a vibe.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's not just random for the sake of being random. It's actually rooted in a specific art movement. It's called daddyism.
Daddyism. Okay, I've heard of that. Isn't that like the whole anti-art thing?
It's a little more than that. But yeah, it's about rejecting traditional rules and expectations, creating art that shocks, provokes, challenges the very definition of art itself.
So are you saying this aleatory salad is like a digital daddyist experiment?
In a way, yes. I mean, it's definitely a departure from like the polished, structured music we're used to, but it gets even more interesting.
Oh, how so?
So Tatanka, they took all these crazy lyrics and they fed them to another AI, ChatGPT.
ChatGPT. So like the AI that can write stories and stuff.
That's the one. And they basically gave it this crazy task
Which was?
to weave a story from all these nonsensical lyrics.
Wait, hold on. So they have one AI writing music and lyrics, and then another AI trying to make sense of it all.
Exactly.
That's pretty wild. And what came of it? What kind of story did ChatGPT come up with?
Well, it's a pretty bizarre narrative, but it's also surprisingly, well, engaging.
So what's the story about? Who are the characters?
Well, the main character is this guy named Jasper. And basically, he's just an ordinary guy until he gets thrust into this reality where Logic takes a permanent vacation.
Logic takes a vacation.
And ChatGPT kind of pieced together his adventure chapter by chapter, using those nonsensical lyrics as, like, building blocks.
So walk us through this. What kind of crazy stuff does Jasper encounter?
Well, for starters, he ends up in a place called the realm of residual speech.
The realm of residual speech. What's that?
It's basically this place where every word ever uttered, like, just hangs in the air, whispering secrets and warnings.
Okay, that's kind of creepy.
Yeah, it is. And ChatGPT actually pulled this line from the lyrics, "Find the syllable that never ends."
Find the syllable that never ends.
Okay, yeah, that's more than a little creepy. But what's the point of this realm of residual speech? Is it just like random weirdness? Or is there something deeper going on? Well, I think it's meant to reflect our world, how we're constantly bombarded with information, opinions, noise. It's like this sonic representation of information overload.
That's a good point. But it sounds like Jasper doesn't shy away from it. He, like, dives right into this chaotic realm.
He does, and that's a key theme that runs through his whole journey, this struggle to find meaning in a world that seems increasingly nonsensical.
So he's braved the linguistic chaos. What's next? What other strange encounters does he have?
Well, next up, he finds himself at the Universal PTA meeting.
The PTA meeting. Okay.
And it's a bureaucratic nightmare. He's asked all these, like, nonsensical questions about the nature of reality, time, stuff like that.
That sounds rough.
Yeah, it is. And ChatGPT found this gem in the lyrics. What is the circumference of yesterday?
The circumference of yesterday.
Okay.
Make you think, right?
It does. But what's the takeaway from this encounter, this bureaucratic absurdity? I think it's about the power of language, how language shapes our perception of reality. In Jasper's world, words don't just describe things, they actively create them.
So it's a world where meaning is fluid, shifting, elusive.
Exactly. And as he travels through this shifting landscape, he's forced to confront his own assumptions about, well, about everything.
It's kind of like Alice in Wonderland, right? The deeper he goes, the more bizarre things get. So where does he go next?
Well, next, he stumbles into the Orchard of Consequences, and it's there he meets a talking grape.
Hold on. A talking grape.
You heard that right. And this grape, it offers Jasper a choice: truth or eternal loss.
Truth or eternal loss?
Yeah.
It's a pretty heavy choice. And what about the lyrics? Did ChatGPT manage to find anything relevant for this chapter?
Oh, yeah, this one's particularly poignant. Silence is the echo of an unsung song.
Silence is the echo of an unsung song.
Wow, that's deep. But what's the deeper meaning behind all this riddle-spouting grape and the choice it presents? I think it raises questions about the nature of truth, especially in a world where randomness reigns supreme. If everything is determined by chance, then does truth become fluid, constantly shifting and evolving?
So instead of looking for a single, absolute truth, maybe it's more about learning to navigate a world where multiple truths can coexist.
Right, and that ties back to daddyism, right? Challenging the idea of a single objective truth, embracing multiple perspectives and interpretations.
Okay, that makes sense. But before we get too deep into the philosophical weeds here, let's take a step back and talk about the creators of this whole thing. TATANKA, who are they? What's their deal?
Well, from what I can tell, they're a collective of artists, musicians, technologists, and they seem to be really interested in pushing creative boundaries.
Okay, but pushing boundaries how? What's their overall mission?
Well, they talk about blending music, technology, and indigenous wisdom. So there's definitely a deeper intention behind their work.
So it's not just about creating, wacky AI-generated music for the sake of it. There's a deeper purpose.
Right. It seems they're exploring this intersection of technology, art, spirituality, using AI as a tool to unlock new creative possibilities.
And this whole aleatory salad concept,
Yeah.
letting go of control, embracing randomness, does that tie into their philosophy too?
Absolutely. It seems like they're interested in exploring what happens when you surrender control to algorithms, letting chance guide the process.
That's a pretty radical approach, and one that definitely raises some interesting questions about art and creativity in the age of AI.
Definitely.
Well, we've already covered a lot of ground here. Information overload, bureaucratic nightmares, talking grapes, and this is just the beginning of Jasper's journey.
Oh yeah, there's so much more to come.
So what other surreal landscapes await him in this aleatory salad of a universe? What happens next?
Well, next we'll delve into the realm of beautiful nonsense, where, well, thoughts become reality. And then there's the dance floor of an endless time, where time itself loops on itself. But before we go there, I'm curious, what are your initial impressions of aleatory salad? What stands out to you so far?
Well, I have to say it's definitely not what I was expecting.
Oh, how so?
I was expecting something, I don't know, more chaotic, more random, but there's actually a lot of thoughtfulness behind it, a real sense of purpose, and the way ChatGPT wove a story from those lyrics, that's pretty impressive.
Right. It makes you wonder what else AI is capable of.
It does, and I'm definitely curious to see where Jasper's journey takes us next. So let's dive back in and explore the rest of this aleatory salad.
Sounds good to me. So Jasper's next stop is this place called the Realm of Beautiful Nonsense.
The realm of beautiful nonsense.
Yeah, and it's a place where imagination just goes wild,
Hmm.
and thoughts actually have the power to shape reality.
Whoa, hold on. Thoughts becoming reality. That sounds like it could get pretty messy pretty fast.
It does. It does. ChatGPT actually it pulled out this line from the lyrics: "Mirrors are filming their own documentary."
Mirrors are filming their own documentary.
And I think it kind of speaks to this self-aware nature of this realm, reality itself is observing and documenting its own absurdity.
Okay, so it's like the universe is constantly creating its own reality show with Jasper as the unwitting star.
Exactly. And in this realm, Jasper, he learns that even the most fleeting thoughts can have these unpredictable consequences.
So 1 minute he's thinking about a giant rubber ducky and the next he's dodging bathtub toys the size of houses?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, yeah. I'm starting to understand why they call it the realm of beautiful nonsense. But is it all fun and games? Or is there a darker side to this whole thought-powered reality thing?
Well, imagine the pressure of having to constantly monitor your thoughts.
Yeah.
Knowing that any stray idea could just manifest in some unpredictable way.
Yeah, That sounds more stressful than beautiful.
It definitely has its challenges, but there's also a sense of liberation, right?
Right.
Like if our thoughts can shape reality, then there's this kind of unlimited creative potential.
Yeah, it's like the ultimate mind over matter thing, but with like much higher stakes.
Exactly. And Jasper has to learn to navigate this delicate balance as he travels through this realm.
So we've gone from information overload to bureaucratic nightmares to thought-powered realities. Where does this aleatory salad take us next?
Next up is the dance floor of an endless time. And this one's a bit more unsettling.
Okay.
Imagine a dance floor that just stretches into infinity, time looping on itself endlessly.
Okay, I'm imagining it.
And Jasper, he's told that he has to keep dancing, or else
Or else what? What happens if he stops dancing?
he fades away.
Oh,
So
okay.
existence itself is contingent on movement, on participating in this
Yeah.
this never-ending cosmic disco.
And the lyrics ChatGPT pulled for this chapter are just as perplexing as the concept itself. Waveforms dectrum, sundial emotivium chimes. I mean, what does that even mean? It's like a whole new language.
Right. It's almost as if ChatGPT is inventing its own vocabulary, drawing from those nonsensical lyrics to create a new kind of poetry, like a fusion of human language and artificial intelligence.
So how does Jasper escape this endless dance marathon? Does he ever get off the dance floor?
He does, but not in the traditional sense.
Yeah.
He finds a way to transition, as the story puts it, guided by the music itself.
Okay.
He follows a single out-of-place note and plunges into the next chapter of his journey.
This is getting pretty intense. It seems like with each chapter, the story just dives deeper and deeper into these existential questions about reality, identity, the search for meaning. What's the next challenge Jasper faces?
Get ready for this one. He comes face to face with the blorp.
The blorp. Okay, you have to tell me more about this. What in the world is a blorp?
It's this amorphous, shape-shifting entity that exists in all timelines simultaneously.
Okay.
And its only means of communication is to say, well, blorp.
Hold on. A creature that transcends time and space can only say blorp. That's almost too absurd to be believable.
Right. But even in its absurdity, I think the blorp, it serves a purpose.
Which is?
It seems to embody the very essence of aleatory salad, pure, unadulterated chaos.
So the blorp is like a walking, talking, or rather blorping embodiment of the album's core concept.
Exactly. It's a reminder to embrace the randomness, the uncertainty, the absurdity of it all, which makes Jasper's next stop all the more surprising.
Oh. What happens after his encounter with the blorp? Where does this chaotic journey take him next?
From the cosmic strangeness of the blorp,
Mm-hmm.
Jasper finds himself transported to the bada bing bada boom.
The bada bing bada boom.
It's this surreal cabaret, complete with jazz hands and sequins.
Wait, a cabaret? We go from like existential dread with the blurb to a sequin spectacle. That's quite a tonal shift.
Isn't it? It's like the universe is throwing a curveball, reminding us that even in the midst of chaos, there's room for a little song and dance. But of course, even the cabaret is infused with this underlying sense of the absurd.
Okay, so it's not your typical Broadway show. What happens to Jasper in this bada bing bada boom wonderland?
Well, he gets chosen as a volunteer for a magic act. Ends up in a giant glass box. And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
He's confronted with multiple versions of himself.
Multiple Jaspers.
Older, younger, different paths taken, all converging in this moment.
Okay.
And the magician then asks him to choose the real Jasper.
Wow. Talk about an identity crisis. It's like he's being forced to confront the idea of the multiverse,
Right.
Like the infinite possibilities of who he could be.
And remember, ChatGPT pulled all of this from those random lyrics.
Yeah.
Somehow it managed to extract this profound concept of multiple selves from lines about ostriches and luxury sales brokers and a pirate's husband digging up buried treasure.
That's mind-boggling, really. It makes you wonder if there's some hidden intelligence in randomness itself, some pattern we just haven't figured out how to decode yet.
It certainly challenges our assumptions about where meaning and creativity come from.
So Jasper is facing an existential crisis in a sequin cabaret. Where does he go from there?
From the spectacle of the cabaret, he's transported to the Bureau of Logical Consistency, which is about as fun as it sounds.
Ugh, a bureaucracy dedicated to logic and consistency. That sounds like my worst nightmare. What happens to poor Jasper in this sterile environment?
I think it's sterile white walls, endless filing cabinets, and a robotic voice demanding he explain his irrational tendencies.
Oh, no.
He's given a form with these, Impossible questions designed to quantify his emotions and experiences.
It's like they're trying to fit the square peg of human experience into the round hole of logic and data.
Exactly. But Jasper, being the resourceful guy he is, finds a loophole.
Oh, what's
He
that?
focuses on a single, utterly absurd thought, a flamingo on roller skates, juggling pineapples while reciting poetry.
And that's his ticket out. That's brilliant. It's like a giant middle finger to the forces of logic and conformity.
It's a reminder that sometimes embracing the nonsensical is the only way to escape the confines of a system that's trying to define you.
So he escapes the Bureau of Logical Consistency with the help of a roller skating poetry reciting flamingo. Where does this absurd adventure take him next?
He finds himself plunged into the deep hunt, or 𝗑ᗕᗕᗓ, as it's also known.
The deep hunt.
It's this vast bioluminescent ocean where lost things go to be caught.
Okay, a cosmic lost and found. So instead of like mismatched gloves and forgotten umbrellas, we're talking about lost dreams, forgotten memories.
Possibly.
Okay.
He meets this mysterious figure who tells him that in this ocean, you fish for what you've lost. But be warned, some things are meant to stay lost.
Oh, that sounds ominous. Does
Yeah.
Jasper even know what he's looking for? Or is he just casting his line into the abyss and hoping for the best?
He doesn't know he's told to cast his line and see what bites.
Okay.
And what he catches is no ordinary fish. It's something massive, ancient, and it pulls him into the depths.
Okay, now I'm really hooked. This Aleatory salad is one wild ride.
I
What
see.
happens next? What lurks in the depths of this cosmic ocean?
But before we delve into those depths, let's shift gears for a moment and talk about the technology behind this project. Because as wild as this journey is, it's important to remember that it all stems from the creative output of AI.
You're right. We've been so caught up in the narrative that we haven't really talked about how Aleatory salad was actually made. Let's unpack the tech side of things.
Okay, so remember how we talked about Suno.com being used to generate the music?
Right.
It's actually a fascinating platform that leverages algorithms to compose original music.
Algorithms composing music. Explain that to me like I'm 5. How does that even work?
Imagine feeding a computer program a massive amount of musical data. Melodies, rhythms, harmonies, different genres. The program then analyzes this data, learns the patterns and relationships, and uses that knowledge to create new musical combinations.
So it's not just randomly smashing notes together. There's actual intelligence behind the music generation.
Exactly, and the level of sophistication in these AI music generators is constantly evolving. They're becoming increasingly adept at creating music that's not only original but also emotionally resonant.
That's pretty impressive. And what about ChatGPT? How did it manage to weave a coherent narrative from these nonsensical lyrics?
Well, ChatGPT is a language model that's been trained on a vast amount of text data, and it can identify patterns, understand context, and generate text that's often indistinguishable from human-written prose.
So it's basically reading between the lines of those bizarre lyrics, finding connections and meaning where we might just see randomness.
Besides, it's like ChatGPT is playing a giant game of connect the dots, but instead of dots, it's using these fragments of language, these absurd phrases to create a larger picture.
It makes you wonder if we're just scratching the surface of what AI is capable of both creatively and intellectually.
Absolutely, and Aleatory salad is a testament to that potential. It's a reminder that we're living in a time of unprecedented technological advancement, and the creative possibilities are seemingly endless.
Okay, so we've got AI composing music, AI writing stories, and a main character who's on a cosmic journey through a salad of absurdity. What happens next? Does Jasper ever make it out of the deep hunt?
He does. But what he finds on the other side is even more mind-boggling than anything he's encountered so far. We'll explore that next as his journey takes him to the very limits of time and space. But before we dive into the final chapters of his adventure, what are your thoughts on the role of AI in all of this? Does Aleatory salad change your perception of what's possible when humans and machines collaborate creatively?
That's a good question. I have to say I'm pretty blown away by what I've heard so far. I mean, it's one thing to have AI generate music or even write a story, but to see it create something this imaginative, this layered and meaningful, it's really something else.
It is, isn't it? It really makes you think about the nature of creativity itself and where these ideas come from.
Right, like, is it the AI that's being creative, or is it the humans behind the AI who are setting the stage and guiding the process?
That's a question that philosophers and artists are going to be grappling with for years to come, I think, and there's no easy answer.
Maybe there doesn't need to be an answer. Maybe it's more about embracing the mystery of it all, Acknowledging that we're still figuring out how this whole AI thing works and what it means for our understanding of creativity.
I think that's a healthy perspective to have.
Yeah.
You know, approach it with a sense of curiosity and wonder and see where it leads.
Exactly. So let's continue our exploration of aleatory salad and see what other surprises await us on this cosmic journey.
Let's do it.
All right. So last we left off, Jasper was tethered to something massive down in the depths of the deep hunt. So what happens next?
Well, the line snaps, and he's catapulted out of the ocean into this place where, well, time itself seems to be fractured.
Okay.
He encounters this colossal clock, bigger than any skyscraper.
Yeah.
With hands that just like appear and disappear at random, and this like booming voice echoes all around him. He says, "Time is a fractured concept. You exist in its wake."
Wow. Okay, that's a little intense.
Right. It's like Jasper's reached the very edge of, our understanding of reality.
Yeah.
A place where the rules of time and space they don't apply anymore.
So what does he do? Does he freak out? Does he try to like make sense of it all?
He doesn't really have time to react because suddenly he sees all these versions of himself, like flickering in and out of existence, older, younger, different paths taken, all converging in this moment outside of time. And the voice, it continues. You are all of them and none of them. Each choice creates a new possibility.
Okay, wow, that's a lot to process. It's like he's being shown the infinite possibilities of his own life, all the paths he could have taken, all existing at the same time.
Exactly. It challenges this whole idea of like a fixed identity. Who we are is not just this singular static thing. It's a collection of choices, experiences, this constantly evolving, well, tapestry.
I like that. It's like that saying, every path leads nowhere, but every path is the path.
Yes, exactly. It's about embracing the journey, the uncertainty, all the potential that exists in each moment.
So does Jasper have any control over this situation? Or is he just kind of along for the ride at this point?
Well, that's the interesting thing. He does have a choice. He can either try to like grasp at some kind of understanding, try to impose order on this chaotic vision, or he could just let go, surrender to the flow.
So what does he do? Does he fight it, or does he embrace the chaos?
He chooses to let go. He stopped trying to make sense of it all, and he just allows himself to be carried forward.
I can see how that would be a pretty liberating experience, especially after everything he's been through. So where does this surrender lead him?
It leads him to 𝗧𝗕𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓. It translates to the River of Returning Wings.
The River of Returning Wings. Okay.
It's described as the point where all journeys converge, a place of ultimate understanding.
That sounds almost like mythical, like a river from some ancient legend.
It does, doesn't it? And here, at this mystical river, Jasper is presented with another choice. He can either drink from the river and see the truth of his path, or he can turn away.
So this river is like the ultimate source of knowledge, a cosmic well of wisdom.
Exactly. It's the culmination of all experiences, all paths, all possibilities.
So does he drink?
He does, just a single drop. And in that moment, he sees not just his own journey, but the journeys of all beings. He experiences the interconnectedness of everything, this vast tapestry of life woven together across time and space.
That sounds like a pretty intense experience. How does he even handle that kind of awareness?
He emerges transformed. He's no longer lost or searching for answers. He understands that the journey itself was the purpose, the process of discovery, the continual unfolding of his own being.
It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the most profound insights come from just letting go, surrendering to the mystery.
Absolutely. And from this place of, newfound clarity, he's ready for the next stage of his journey. He arrives at 𝗬𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓 this towering spire. And he's met by a giant eagle.
An eagle. There's definitely some symbolism there.
Right. Eagles represent vision, power, connection to the divine. And in this story, the eagle serves as a guide. It challenges Jasper to climb the spire and, claim his own vision.
So this is like a final test, a culmination of everything he's learned.
Precisely. And as he climbs, he's confronted with visions of his past, his potential, all the paths he could have taken. It's a grueling climb, both physically and emotionally. He feels the weight of everything he's experienced. And he's tempted to give up.
And he keeps going.
He does. He pushes forward, driven by this newfound sense of purpose, this understanding that the journey's not about reaching the destination. It's about, the continual process of becoming.
And when he reaches the top, what does he see? Does he finally get all the answers?
He doesn't get answers in the traditional sense. What he finds is something much more valuable: clarity, He sees that there are no easy answers, no single truths, just infinite possibilities, infinite paths to explore. And he's free to choose his own way forward.
So it's not about finding the right answer. It's about embracing the freedom to choose, to create, to define your own meaning.
Exactly. And from this vantage point, the eagle carries him to the source. It's described as this waterfall of stars, the origin of all knowledge.
Wow. So he's literally at the source of creation. What happens there?
He's given one final choice. He can either drink deeply from the source and become one with the universe, or he can return to the world carrying the wisdom he's gained.
What a choice. What does he decide?
He chooses to return. He takes a single drop from the source, enough to understand the interconnectedness of everything, but not so much that he loses himself. And then, well, he's carried back to where he started, transformed but still human.
So after all of that, all the strange places, the creatures, those mind-bending ideas, he ends up right back where he began. But of course, he's not the same.
Nope, not at all. He's been changed, fundamentally, by his encounter with the aleatory salad of the universe.
Yeah.
He returns with a new understanding of himself, the world, reality itself.
It's like a reminder that the greatest journeys are sometimes the ones that lead us back to ourselves, but, changed by the experience. It's an incredible story. And to think it all started with random notes and lyrics from an AI, it really makes you wonder, like, what other stories are out there, waiting to be discovered, hidden in the randomness of the universe, or even, in our own imaginations.
And that's the beauty of aleatory salad, right? It's not just about the music or the story. It's about what's possible when you embrace chance, let go of control, and see the world as this vast playground of possibilities.
Maybe we all need a little aleatory salad in our lives. A reminder to embrace the unexpected, to find beauty in the absurd, and to see the world with a sense of wonder.
Couldn't agree more. It's about recognizing that the most profound discoveries often come from the most unexpected places.
Well, for those of you listening who are intrigued by this whole AI-generated art thing, or if you're just curious about aleatory salad, we've included links to TATANKA's website and the project in the show notes.
Yeah, check it out. Dive in, explore, see what meaning you find. You might be surprised.
And who knows, maybe you'll even run into the blorp. Just remember, a friendly blorp back is all it takes. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep embracing the beautiful chaos of it all.